Stars. It is Courtney with Stars the Morning Light. I am never on Mondays, and it is Monday, June 19th, 2023. I decided to do this morning because I have a very long message for this is going to cover a whole lot of the entire summer into August, September, October. Whoa! So, normally I am live at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time every Sunday for Akashic Weekly Message. Yesterday, at that time, I actually covered more of my Edgar Cayce series. Good morning, Robert. I see you in the chat. I also, usually at the beginning of my videos, because I am live, I greet those who come into the chat. So, welcome everyone, welcome. Today is a very long message. It is going to be covering the energies from the solstice, which is, this Wednesday. I'm getting so excited. Into all the way, like I said, August, September, October. Good morning, Miss Chloe. I see you. You all are so beautiful, you beautiful stars. If you're new to the channel, I am your host. Here we cover all things esoteric, from the Emerald Tablets to Edgar Cayce to Akashic Messages to ancient texts. This evening, if you happen to be in the Tennessee Valley area, I will be doing a 5D, 7D Star Consciousness roundtable discussion at Blue Sun Fusion Studio in Dalton, Georgia. I also have many summer sales that are put together right now. If you are interested in getting one of my quantum, everything's really quantum, karmic timeline cleanse. If you want to cleanse your timeline of karmic residue so you can move forward without any of that stuff, any of that negative residue, I am doing a summer sale of only $40. Those usually cost $100. That will be during the week of July 17th through the 21st. I only have now I only have 4 slots. You can book that at starsofthemorninglight.com, and or you can purchase my moon manifesting course. I do want to mention that briefly before I really get into the message today. Last night I popped on social media and everybody was saying, new moon intentions and new moon manifesting, blah, blah, blah. Ladies and gentlemen, you beautiful stars, if you don't know how to work with the moon, please purchase that course. It is very cheap for you right now on this summer sale, and it's only between June 17th and August 17th that I'm doing this. This weekend was not to manifest. I mean, you can today if you want. You got today. But really, this weekend was to rest, reflect, and appreciate her. It was a very long void of course. We do not manifest during void of courses. So you can today. For those of my patrons that might be listening, today you can. How I approached it was I gave her all sorts of praise this morning because she's doing exactly what, needs to happen. And I will tell you, I got 9 hours of sleep. I can't remember the last time I got 9 hours of sleep. It's because I work with the energies, not against them. And that's what void of courses are all about. So, you can today. But really, all this new moon right now happening, and it ends, after today. Oh, and the magic card came out. I guess that's what we'll take out of my sacred geometry deck. It really was to praise her. It really is to connect with yourself, to rest and reflect, and then give her all the praise for working hard, because she's about to start working real hard. So are we. And that's a whole lot of what today's message will be about. So if you didn't know that, I'm bringing this up because I care about people and misinformation. If you did not know that, and you tried to do any moon magic, moon manifesting Saturday or Sunday, the past 2 days, please know that it's not going to work out for you. So your best bet right now then is in this day, talk with her, give her praise, and say, I understand that you're just now receiving my message, and I apologize for my my ignorance and a little bit of arrogance, and may I learn how to work with you better. And thank you for what you do for us. It is all about praising her right now. So I just wanted to put that out there because people don't understand the rhythms and the cycles and the truth about how to work with her. I'm actually very passionate about it, obviously. So before we begin our full message of today, number 31 from our Sacred Geometry deck, Magic. See, I was just talking about it. Magic. The frequency of magic supports our intrinsic ability to grow and expand beyond this moment, to move toward possibilities and expressions that are as grand and profound as we can imagine. All that is required is our belief of their manifestations. This card is definitely also for today's message. Magic. There is the sacred geometry to that. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh, that's so beautiful. I wish there wasn't a glare. Oh my goodness, that is so beautiful. I'm going to read that again because this is a part of today's message. Because so it begins. Oh, you beautiful stars, we can do this. Number 31, magic. The frequency of magic supports our intrinsic ability to grow and expand beyond this moment, to move toward possibilities and expressions that are as grand and profound as we can imagine. All that is required is our belief in their manifestations. And that, beautiful stars, is, if I needed to sum up the message for today, it is that. The magic that is you. The magic that is you. Oh. I did get 9 hours of sleep and now I feel like I'm on fire. Like, let's go. It's coming. So it begins. And that means with everything. That literally means with everything. That means why you're here right now. Why did you choose to be birthed when you were birthed? Why did you choose to be living during this time period? Why are you here? It is to grow and expand beyond this moment. It is the moment, folks. It is. And I hope this message ends up being inspiration to everyone. It is that moment that you, I, everyone, if we choose to work with the energies this summer, not against them, there's going to be a lot that work against them. But if we choose to work with them, we can fully remember and experience our mastery present self. We can experience our multidimensional selves. We can experience the new earth that I talk about so often here. We can experience higher consciousness that many have never even been exposed to. That is what is happening. And of course, because of the 3D duality, the 3D density, many will feel as if they're losing their marbles. They're losing their minds. Many will experience things that they've never experienced before. Many will have there will be a lot of questions. There will be a lot of questions. So, it is that opportunity for expansion into all infinite possibilities. All of them. So I will tell you, I'm going to just run through the list as to what I need to talk about today. And this did come from the Akashic. I asked them, I said, guys, I think I know where you're going with all this. Last Sunday, they asked everyone to consider writing down and truly thinking about, and that's what a lot of this weekend was actually for, with our rest and reflect during the void of course of the moon. Last weekend, they asked everybody to write down what were their fundamental core truths. And I remember saying last Sunday that really, folks, that there's not too many of those. We don't have a very long list as to what our core truths are, because as we learn and grow and expand in this lovely Earth School, a lot of what we think are conceptions and our truths change over time, which is beautiful. That's what's supposed to happen, right? But at the very core of our multidimensional, high heart-centered being, there is a few truths that will never change. That will never change. And so they were asking everybody to go deep within and find those. That's what the Akashic was asking us to do last weekend. I appreciate everyone coming in the chat. Good morning, good day. It is different for me to be doing this on a Monday, but I love being here with you all. And to state again, yes, I got 9 hours of sleep last night, so I'm ready to rock and roll, folks, so roll with me if you can. They asked us to do that. That is going to be needed. That is going to be needed from here all through the summer into the fall. This is, once that summer equinox, the summer solstice this Wednesday, when it hits, everyone's going to be flying through different consciousness, higher consciousness, different vibrations, different truths. Different truths. This is the main thing we're going to talk about today. So we better know our own, right? To give you guys a heads up as to where we're going. We're going to be talking about AI. We're going to be talking about the sun and the activation on Wednesday. We're going to be talking about a different form of using a pyramid. We're going to be talking about the truth versus pride. Showing the levels of consciousness chart again. We're going to be covering activation of your crown, opening and closing it. Because you don't just keep your crown open all the time. There's going to be so many people that it's just going to be popping off like corks, that these poor people, they need us. And we're going to talk a little bit about warrior versus healer. That's the whole message for today. Woo! Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness, I got a lot of work ahead of me. I love it though. I'm here for everyone. So, let us begin for a moment. I'm going to start with the AI stuff. I really am. Because yesterday in my Edgar Casey life skill study that I did on Sunday instead of Wednesday, because Wednesday was bad storms, I covered how to detox from the AI, and our beloved Susie here informed me later last night that when I was doing it live, all the AI wanted to glitch out. It is there. I double checked. It is there with the replay. But as I was actually physically doing it, supposedly at least in where Susie is, over in the Montana-ish area, Dakota area, it completely wiped it out in live time. So, I'm going to keep doing it. I'm going to keep doing it all summer long. This AI detox comes from my teachers, because all teachers should have teachers, right? We also are going to touch on that later in this program about the teachers that might be appearing towards late summer into fall, and how to identify. That will be an ongoing theme throughout the summer. So this comes from my teachers. Beautiful stars, you lovely beings of great light. Do know what we've been experiencing with the AI stuff. We are just at the beginning. We are merely at the beginning of it. What often happens is the fear of it, because to many of us that is so foreign, and we also fear who is controlling it. I want everyone to know right now, throughout this entire summer, as we've been talking about the eye of the storm, we're going to talk more about how you are the great I am, as a collective, as an individual, the I, the all-seeing I. You, if you really want to talk about AI, you are the most profound, magical AI, the most grand of them all, than anything that's being created right now, and ever will forever be. So please, don't give your power over to it. That's all that is being used right now, is for us to try to give our power over to it. That's it. That's what it always will be. That's it. And if we own our truths and we stand in our power, why would we give our power over to AI? It's not a thing. But we have to know that in ourselves. We have to relax into that knowing that in the concepts of AI, we are the best technology ever created. Us humans, us multidimensional selves, forget about it, as they would say. Forget about it. It's not a thing to worry about. But I also understand many will. Many will. And how they're gonna, and of course how it's gonna be rolled out is in many, many different variations and ways. And some are gonna look extremely like, whoa, whoa, what's happening here, right? It's actually really nothing new under the sun. They're just presenting it in technology, and your multidimensional self could be like, oh my goodness, child's play, right? So, exactly, Coke Queen, good to see you. It's a tool. Exactly. It's always just a tool. We are far greater. But here's the truth of the matter, at least for a while. As we learned in the Edgar Cayce study, we have everybody's pineal gland, right? We're going to talk about the pineal for just a moment. It is a sure thing that after this solstice, people's pineal glands can be activating regardless if they know it or not. That's why I keep saying it's going to be like corks just popping. Everybody's crowns are just going to open up, and people are not going to understand, right? So the pineal gland, beautiful. It's my antennas. I love my antennas. I grew up with them. They're great. But at the same time, in my humble opinion, and in other definitely turn of the century, of the 20th century and before, psychics would talk about not just the pineal, but the pituitary gland. And the pituitary gland, folks, is what really takes in all of the information from our eyes and our ears, and it's set back here in the brain to It's the one that decides what goes to the subconscious, what goes to the consciousness, what goes to the frontal lobe, which is the feeling of the meaning of things. That's the best way to put it. That's how I learned it in college. The feeling of the meaning of things are truths. This is why everybody talks about the third eye, the frontal lobe. So, there will be more of an attack, let's say, of the pituitary, right? Because the whole pineal of the opening of the crown, of the natural, what would be happening anyways, is related to what you are perceiving and taking in pituitary wise. Because perception is reality, perception is creation, right? We exist because we see each other. All of this exists because we see it. We learn this in physics. I've covered this a bunch of times. So, one of the ways to detox from all of what will be transmitting from all of these wonderful devices of ours, right? All of these devices that will be transmitting so much stuff to interact with our pituitary gland, pituitary gland, not the pineal gland, to actually work with that to try to form and create our perception. That needs to be what is detoxed. Your pineal is groovy, man. Your pineal that is your multidimensional self. They can't really attack that. Everybody talks about how it's crystallized and how it's, they've capped it off and they've cut it off. Let them try. You are way bigger. Let them try. What they're really doing is they're attacking the pineal gland to control your perception. So, my teachers, and it's funny because my teachers who are teaching this detox, they haven't even talked about the pituitary gland, and so when we were all being taught this, I was like, oh, I know exactly what you're doing. You're detoxing that. Because if they create your perception for you, and you feel as if you have no control, or you don't detox from the overload of transmissions, the overload of subliminal messages, well then, yeah, likely so, because the two work together, that when all the crowns start opening unknowingly, it'll get very confusing for folks. That's why the main message today is going to be about the truth. Truths. Your truths. And what that's going to look like in life. So, let's talk this detox, and I will remind everyone, when I did this yesterday live, as I'm going to pause for a moment and allow this electronics to catch up with my energy, that's why I'm not worried about it, folks. When I did this live yesterday, supposedly, it all glitched out when I was actually doing this detox, this AI detox. So, it is always going to, I believe, be in the afterplay. But I also don't control what glitches out and what doesn't. I do have to go slower, though. Okay? So, information that we take in via our eyes and ears, it will always go in through the eye and up and around, right? It will go up and around. This is why our eyes are round. When I was a child, my eyes were not actually round, they were oval. It is a very rare form of stigmatism. So my eyes are still not exactly as round as they need to be. Maybe that's why I don't pay attention to the shit that's out there. So our eyes, it goes in, up, over our eyes, and around. So what we can do to detox, and we're really detoxing the pineal gland that's back here, folks. It is what determines what we take in and what we don't take in, and how we view things, how we hear things. Take our index fingers, our middle fingers. I accidentally flicked everybody off yesterday. Take our index fingers and just touch them back and forth, knock them together with your thumb. This is you activating your own energy, your own healer self, your own healer self. This is your own energy, the energy of your hands. Remember, our hands are here to do the work. Even if our consciousness is in other planes, our hands are doing the work here for ourselves and others. So we take our index fingers, we're activating our own energy. And I'm going to do it only with one eye right now so I can make sure I'm showing y'all correctly. We close our eye and we find the top, the middle part of our eye, the top of our eyeball, right? Oh, I found it. There it is. And right in the middle, okay, with our index finger from the top, we touch our eye. We nicely rub against, going past the temple. Past the temple. This feels amazing, by the way, folks. Past the temple. I have to spin to do this for you. Past the temple, around the ear. Now we're doing the sight. This is the sight and the hearing. Around the ear, past the pituitary, around the ear to the base of your head, base of your skull, and then we're going to bring it up 2 or 3 inches and down to where our neck ends and out. So what that looks like, and this, ladies and gentlemen, you beautiful stars, you lovely beings of light, I'm going to be doing this all summer. So you will catch it accordingly when you need it. So we do it actually at the same time with both, okay? And it is kind of hard to film because all the movement going on. But we would find the center of both of our eyes with our middle finger. Just rest it there for a moment. Bring it back across the temple, across the ear, past the pituitary, cleansing, down around the skull to the base of the skull with both fingers up and then back down and out. I can guarantee you it works. So let's say, regardless if you had a long day of working on the computer, or for some reason you are watching a lot of things, or for some reason, even if it's not AI, but you had a day, the 4th of July is coming up here in the States. Many of us get together with family and friends that all have different opinions and thoughts. By the end of the night, if you've heard a lot of things that don't resonate with you, or you've seen a lot of things, you can do this. And I say do it at least twice a day. But that's for me. But it does work. I'm going to keep covering that because, like I said, so many people are worried about the technology aspect when we really are so greater. But the difference is many of us are still not aware of how much we're actually taking in and how much it actually influences us and how much that pituitary gland is actually working overdrive and how really the attack is on that. It's not on the pineal. Yes, can the pineal, because of stuff that we put in our bodies and a whole bunch of other stuff, can it be kind of crustified and all? Yes, but I'm going to tell you right now, that sun that's coming, the solstice that is happening Wednesday, it's going to start taking care of the pineal for us. That's a lot of that is the point of the solar flares. So I'm not going to, that's not the worry. That's not the worry, right? The worry is more this aspect of the brain that nobody pays attention to, that nobody talks about, when it actually is working in tandem with the pineal. So I need to talk about that. Let's talk about the sun. Let's talk about the sun. Yeah, I love it. Let's talk about the sun. This Wednesday, as I just mentioned, now starting this Wednesday and all through until the fall equinox, the potential of you getting activations, downloads, ancient coding, right? Of you receiving that stuff. Is the potential of that, I mean, I can almost guarantee that everybody that watches Stars of the Morning Light and is a part of this lovely community, and thank you everyone who's in the chat. I saw Lucky, I saw Trina, I saw Coke Queen, Lori. Good, I'm glad you're here. Seeker, great having you guys. Everyone, and lovely Robert, everyone that at least I know that watches here, everyone will be receiving massive ancient codes, downloads as you want to call it. It is all to guys. It's hard to, pardon me for if you're watching this afterwards. I do communicate with a lot of people in the chat. It's hard with this system though, because it's like it pops in as a little bubble and then disappears. So I don't see all of the names. So thank you for everyone being here. It's a definite. And for those, as I've been talking about weeks now, pretty much all of April May and June, for us who have been walking some kind of awakening, healing, esoteric journey, whatever it may be, right? For at least 3 years or more, I am trying to do a call out, right? To step out of, or step up a little bit, I should say. Step up more into a mentor form. And it could be just a mentor with one other person. I apologize for that weird pause within me. My garage doors have been opening and closing by themselves lately. Which I'm sure is just a technical whatever. So that's what happened. No one else is home right now, and then all of a sudden I hear the garage door starting to open. It is not a ghost, it is not anything, it is literally, trust me, the wiring. So that was that pause of when I spoke of, the garage door is opening. Sorry, folks. I have been asking everyone to, even if, let's say you've been learning and you've been healing and you've been going to like one meditation class or something once a week. I'm asking you to maybe level up just a little bit. It's time to level up some, because think of all those folks that the awakening is going to happen now. The gate, the actual gate to the awakening happened in April. About mid-April. We had not been into the Great Awakening prior to that. Same as we have not stepped into, the time of Aquarius yet. We have not stepped into that. We still got a minute. But the Great Awakening had not actually, the gate to that had not actually opened until about this past mid-April. And it was beautiful that May, the entire energies of May were for advanced superior healing. And the reason for that was because usually when a gate of Great Awakening and people wake up, that initial feeling of betrayal, that initial, whoa, memories start coming back of things we do have to heal, all sorts of stuff. The amount of healing that was the potential of May was there because the gates to the Great Awakening happened in April. Well, now we're into June, right? Well, June is really for us to start experiencing, especially post Wednesday, experiencing we are multidimensional beings. We do know. It is to experience that. But here's the thing, folks. Many of us, we're there. We are there. We've actually been there for quite some time, even if we doubt. Even if we doubt. Remember, doubt is actually not fear. Doubt is just the unknown. That's it. We mix doubt in with fear. It's natural in our state now of being. But doubt is not fear. Doubt is just not knowing the future. Doubt is the unknown. That's it. That's it. So once we acknowledge that, we go, oh, okay, cool. That's fine. So I might not know everything, but I know a lot. I know who I am, hence our truths. And even if we don't, June is for us to experience more of who we are. So we need not to fear it, right? Because it might just be doubt. We might just have moments of Courtney saying I'm a mastery presence self. Courtney saying I'm a multidimensional being. Courtney says I'm this beautiful star of love and light. You are. There might be moments of doubt. That's groovy, man. That's fine. That just means it's unknown to you yet. Or the full picture of who you are is unknown. It's not to be feared. So, by going past you're acknowledging your mastery present self and experiencing itself more, imagine others that have never experienced, never ascertained anything, which I live in my own little bubble, and I didn't think the world was full of them. And right now, no, the world is still very full of people that have given their power away in great ways. I mean, they just give their power away. I didn't really acknowledge that until I traveled pretty much all of the Midwest by car. I did not, that was very eye-opening for me as I drove being the eye of the storm. So for us who know not to give our power away, for us here who are detoxing from the AI, for us here who knows that the sun is the truth, the light, the way, S-U-N, you beautiful star, for us that know that, we do need to level up a bit more into, even if you mentor one person that all of a sudden wakes up and goes, whoa, what the heck is going on? Whoa, I feel the betrayal. Whoa, I have memories that I clearly blocked out. Whoa, I am now experiencing and seeing stuff that I've never experienced and seen before. Whoa, is magic real? Whoa, what are these multidimensional beings that I see? All of it. Any scenario. We can now help them. And that is what the progression is supposed to be. Because by August, September, October, the potentiality for it to be that grand awakening to be very present, these people are going to need others, right? It's how, as I'm going to talk at the very end, the warrior becomes the healer, and why that is actually way more needed, vastly more needed. Imagine at the same time that during all this, crowns opening, people seeing stuff, people experiencing their multidimensional self without knowing anything of what's happening, these beautiful beings, these beautiful humans. With the onset also of AI, which is just the beginning, with the onset of AI, with the sun doing all the activations and with the sun, actually, the sun and the moon treating us wonderfully. The sun and the moon and Great Spirit is the Trinity. The sun and the moon, Great Spirit, and me is four. That is the structure and balance for always. I love it. With all this happening, we are in the moment of truth. We are in the moment of truth, and that's why we keep talking about being in the eye of all these storms, right? And being the eye that sees, being the eye that knows, being the eye that walks with the storms but doesn't participate in the blowing of everything around, right? We are the I am. Together we are the great I am. And that eye of truth, that all-seeing eye, Wednesday, will be very present for all of us. Very present for all of us. Right? Very present for all of us. If you want to know all of the secrets of the universe, it is very open for everyone. So with that being said, and this is why the Akashic asked us last week to know at least our few core truths of our being, of our complete being, is because truth is going to be very complex going forward. I've said it here many times. There are no absolute truths in 3D. There are absolutely no absolute truths in 3D. 3D, duality, density, heavy. There is no absolute truths there. And, you know, I love physics, of course, but they haven't even gone there. I mean, some of it's cool, groovy, but they haven't even gone there. So, but what will happen, because everybody's knowers, their pineal glands are going to be knocking off, popping, their corks are going to be popping, everybody's going to start having all these truths. Everybody's going to have all their own truths. And there's going to be so much truth revealed, right? So much truth revealed. We're going to hear that word over and over again. So much truth revealed. When beautiful stars, there is no absolute. This is all truths that are attached to different potentialities, attached to different timelines, attached to the infinite potentials, the infinite expressions, that there is no such thing as absolute truth. There's not. I might have my core truth. I got my core truth. I do. Is it the same as your core truth? Most likely not. But that's beautiful. That is amazing and wonderful and beautiful. Now is the time that we can actually choose how we live out the rest of our timeline. Karma is cleared, folks. Karma is cleared. If you choose to live not with your karma, if you choose to cleanse away your karmic residue that has been affecting you lifetime after lifetime, go for it. You are free. You are free. Many people are not going to feel that way though, but you are. You are completely free of any karma. You are completely free of any programming. You are completely free of any dogma. You have to know your truth. And your truth and my truth can get together, and I can be like, look at this potentiality, and you go, look at this potentiality, and if we like our potentialities, because light reflects light, well then we can sit and have some coffee and become a greater light. But the thing is we're going to hear on the news, we're going to hear with the AI, we're going to hear with individuals, we're going to hear so many truths, so many revealings, so many Sorry, I gotta laugh. I really do have to laugh. And there's going to be a lot of backlash because of that. There's going to be so much backlash because we all have our truth. We do. We have our truths. And my teachers are referring to it as arrogance. You know, watch out for all the arrogance coming this summer and fall. I call it pride. I seriously just call it pride. That's why people say the term swallow your pride. Because let's say your truth and my truth don't line up. Well, then, if I'm a prideful person and our egos are talking to our egos, because that is the majority of the population, egos talking to egos, just egos talking to egos, well, things are going to could potentially get real messy. Real messy. Because no, you're right, I'm wrong. Or I'm right, you're wrong, right? Vice versa. A lot of backlash as to what is true and what is not true. We've already seen it. We've already seen it. And it's because of the identity crisis that a lot of people are going to be going through because of their pineal gland and because of the Grand Awakening and because of the sun. The sun that's going to be working very hard to wake everybody up. It is an identity issue when people don't know their actual truths and their multidimensional selves. The rest of us relax into it because we are the all-knowing I, the great I am. I'm going to show the level of consciousness chart for a moment. So I'm talking about pride. It's going to be so much he said, she said, they said, not right is right, I'm right, you're wrong, follow this leader, follow that, do this. My brain just is exhausted even thinking about it. Even think. That's why you detox. So, pride here, folks. This is the level of consciousness chart. This is the best chart I've ever found with it. Okay? It goes through a lot of details. When I will most likely maybe put this in the description when I go back and put the description in for today's message. Levels of consciousness chart. My patrons have this, and I ask them repeatedly, study this chart, really look at it, really pay attention to what's going on here. So down here, right, with your third dimension, our heavy density, right? It is so heavy in 3D. No wonder no one's creating. So heavy there. So 3D. Look at this. Anger, pride, courage, right? Fear, desires, anger, pride. Wow. Isn't it interesting how this all is in what is also represented by the lower chakras? Stay in mind of truth because we're going to be talking about the higher chakras here in a moment. This all goes in together. The red, of course, represents the lower chakra area, right? Grief, fear, desires, anger, pride. Pride does, yeah, move you up a bit. We're at what, 175 on frequency? 175, my God, that's such a low frequency. I had mentioned in a previous episode when I did travel this past June, at the beginning of June, the frequency was so low in that area of the country. And I mean the entire area. The entire area. I was just completely this. There was no, I mean, I was the light. Like, I didn't feel anything other than this coming off of the whole landscape, the whole peoples, all of it. Because we are connected to the land. So if we are living in this as a collective, that is what she experiences. That within 3 or 4 days, I had a massive just breakdown, sobbing, crying that lasted, I don't know how long it lasted. but I mean massive, just the 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 amount of low frequency was overwhelming for me, to the point that now I do understand that that's what the majority are probably feeling. But you are not the majority. You are the stars. You are stars of the morning that sing and call in the divine to help. So this summer, because there will still be a lot of grief, we are not out of the woods with that yet, guys. Still, so much fear. I mean, the immense amount of fear that I really forgot existed. The immense amount of fears. And then the desires that actually get attached to the fears. Isn't that interesting? The desires that actually get attached to the fears. I've always spoken in my Manifesting Anything classes or talks here that we have to be weary of desire. If you pay attention to any of the, maybe the Nagamati or the Essene type stuff, chaos, the supposedly the Lord and Master of this 3D land, chaos, let's say, I'm using very simple terms here, was actually just born out of desire. Desire without permission. Desire without permission. Wow. And that desire has now created all the rest below it. As above, so below, as below, so above. Right? As within, so without. So we do have to watch our desires. What are the motives? Why are we actually desiring that? Desire is very powerful. Desire does create. Desire creates a lot of things. And the original is chaos. The original is the evil one. That was what desire created. And it's interesting. Fear, grief, fear, desire, anger. So much anger. So much anger. So much anger in the world. And right above that is pride. This here is what people are going to try to be expressing their truth through. Because they don't really understand what's going on with them. This right here. And the pride will be the pushback. The pride is the pushback. The pride is always the pushback. The pride is always, I know better than you do. Us versus them. It is always the pushback. It's actually a very low frequency, so I don't know why we use that term so much. The pride of separation, because when I hear the word pride, all I think about is separation, period. That's what it is. That's all I hear. Yes, beloved just said that pride is always ego. Exactly, beloved. We were talking about that just a minute ago. Exactly. And it's at 175. What we're actually asking people is, isn't it interesting that courage is right above it? So we're moving up a little bit, right? We're moving up a little bit. I'm actually asking you not to have courage to fight your opinion, fight that you are right, because your truth is your truth. Everyone's truths are going to be different. We are not a collective force in that matter yet. We still, the human free will is very prominent, which is wonderful, because your truths are your potentialities. Your truths are your potentialities, not mine. It's when our potentialities line up together and go, oh, yours is a beautiful light like mine is a beautiful light. We could combine these potentialities. Awesome. We're not there yet, folks. So what we're actually asking is to have a little bit of courage to move out of pride, a little bit of courage to cleanse that ego. We've done it a bunch of times here at Stars of the Morning Light. It's a very, very old video. You can find it in the playlist of extra stuff to cleanse the ego. Your ego is always going to be present. It's not going to go away, but if it is engrossed and controlling and well out of proportion, there is a way to cleanse it and keep it right sized. There is ways. Because also, you know what's funny? Our ego and our intuition are brother and sister to each other, and they live pretty much next to each other in our system, in our chakra system, that everybody's intuition gets messed up too, because the ego is still in overdrive. So everybody, oftentimes they'll be like, well, my intuition. Really? I'm just hearing nothing but ego. And I'm coming a little rough. Because, not to be rough, I mean, I'm rough around the edges anyways. That's just who I am. It is because I'm trying to make it very clear, those of us that might be in the know, it might feel like a bombardment of stuff, right? So it's preparing. We are asking that we step out of pride and have a little bit of courage to step into neutrality, the willingness to accept. And from that acceptance of the forgiveness that's attached to it, see how we're moving up? Into the inner light and reason, into the inner wisdom. That is your knowing. We cannot do our knowing if we cannot live by it. And that's going to be what I get into next. We cannot live by it with fear, desire, anger, pride. We cannot live in our multidimensional 5D, 7D, compassion, non-judgmental, multidimensional, heart-centered self, mastery presence in the 3D, grief, fear, desire, anger, pride. We cannot do it. We cannot achieve it. It is not a thing. So we're asking just a little bit of courage to live for a while in neutrality as the observer. As the observer. As the observer. To feel and experience, which is what June is going to be, and is going to be until about July 8th-ish, right? These energies are here to help us experience more of our observer neutrality, waters of neutrality, the potentialities that you can choose from. As an observer, we're moving up. Then we just need an ounce of willingness for acceptance. That acceptance, what is that going forward? At least for right now. That acceptance is to accept others where they are at, even if you completely disagree, even if it completely pains you to watch what's going on with them. I accept that that is your journey. I accept that that is where you are. I accept that that is the course you are choosing. Each one of our lives, our path, current, our path is our spiritual journey. It's never been anything different. Yours, mine, everyone's. Mine looks vastly different than yours. Yours looks different than mine. Individual, singular journeys. So even if someone that we care about, someone that we don't know, someone that might be talking on one of these screens and you just want to like throw the screen out the window because they're driving you nuts. Turn it off, by the way. They are all on their own journey. We accept that. That is where the neutrality observer comes into play. And the willingness is just the willingness to accept where we are at in our journey and to accept that that's where they are as well. And then we hold compassion for ourselves and others. That's it. Compassion with acceptance. That's where you're at. Groovy. Groovy. We are not here to fix, manage, and control anyone. We are not here to rescue anyone. I don't know if I have it on me. The abuser-rescuer triangle is not supposed to be in play, but we all tend to live that way. Oh, you know what? I do have it with me, so let's show it. My abuser-rescuer triangle. So, this is what I'm asking for everybody. This is in psychology. We all know this. Well, okay, not everybody knows it. But if you look at the screen, this is what the majority of the world lives in. This is also a very codependent triangle. And it can move in either direction. It can do whatever it wants. Victim, abuser, rescuer. Rescuer, abuser, victim. However it's going to move around, this, you know how I normally talk about the pyramid of self-ascension? This is the majority of people's pyramid. Yeah, awesome. Right? And I don't mean that awesome. I mean that in a sarcastic way. I apologize. That was very sarcastic. This is what people are living through. Victim, abuser, rescuer. Victim, abuser, rescuer. Rescue, victim, abuser. It doesn't matter. We just move in and out of this. This is people's pyramid. It is what it is, right? When this is what we use to grow from that. This is supposed to be our actual pyramid. Physical, emotional, spiritual. On a foundation of meditation and solid with gratitude. This is a healthy human. This is a healthy human. Oh my goodness, I love these healthy humans, right? I love this. This is our healthy human self. Solid, solid, solid. And this is what we use. Meditation for the foundation, and we fill our pyramid with gratitude. Woo, I love it. This, I like all these pyramids that I'm just throwing at you. This is actually good because it's going to bring me into the part about the pyramids. This is what I'm asking people to start doing. Have you been healing? Have you been discovering? Have you been learning? Have you been growing? Have you been changing? For at least 3 or more years. It's time for you to get into more of a mentor role. For even if it's just for one other person. Even just one other person. You don't have to do what I do here. No one's asking you to do that. But if you got 3 or more years, man, when you see somebody and they really have questions and they are sincere, step up. Step up to the mentor. Often people ask, why is healer at the bottom? We're going to learn here in a little bit. Because that is the most narrow. That is the most, oh my goodness, I have to fill this whole triangle with healing? With healing? From this little awareness of I have to heal. I have to have the willingness to accept that I have to heal first. And grows and grows and grows. Stay with me, folks. Stay with me, stay with me, stay with me. So if everybody's here, victim, abuser, rescuer triangle, and you do some healing, right? You do some healing and you maintain for at least a little bit. And sometimes this pyramid, you know, oh man, a brick fell. Oh man, I gotta put my pyramid back together of self-ascension. Fine. We're all learning, we're all growing, we're all doing. But if everybody's here, rescuer, victim, abuser, and I'm asking for people to heal and become mentors and teachers, look what happens then, folks. Look what happens then. Huh. I'm holding this. That covers, the healer, mentor, teacher covers the victim, abuser triangle. Rescue is up here, right? Now take your pyramid. What is at the top? It is spirituality. It is you. It is your multidimensional self, solid. Isn't that the true rescuer? Isn't that true of what they refer to as messiahs? What they refer to as ascended masters? Aren't they the ones that actually help the world? The true rescuer, that is because they are completely healed. They completely know their power. They completely understand their multidimensional magical self. Don't we see them as the grand rescuers of the world? Instead of sick and in a pattern of victim, abuser, rescuer, codependency, trauma, we heal. We mentor. We be the teacher. And we do it again, folks. This rotates as well. I continue to heal. And sometimes I drop out of being a teacher and just back to mentor. Because, sometimes teacher is a lot. There's times that I need to just mentor. And there's times that I might take 3 weeks, 3 months, 3 years, and I focus just on my healing. Right? Because without the healing filling all of this, we will not ever achieve the mentor, teacher, actual rescuer of the planet in our pyramid of self-ascension. So if you can look at the screen, this all makes sense. I'm hoping it makes sense. That is what we're asking people to do. It starts with stepping out of pride. Stepping out of pride. Because the thing is, folks, is it's going to get difficult. It's going to get difficult because so many truths will be revealed. So many truths will be coming out of everyone. Quote unquote. It's going to be that overwhelming feeling of this is my truth. But it's because everybody's going through identity stuff right now. Because our crowns will be opening. Everybody will be experiencing really more of their multidimensional heart-centered self and not know what's going on. So their ego will be pushing back within themselves. Their own ego will go, no. We like being right. We like being right. We need to stay right here. Don't listen to that heart. Don't listen to that heart. Don't listen to logic. Don't listen to what's going on. Be right. Be with the ego. But the heart-centered and the pineal will go, ho. It's going to be a struggle for individuals. And if individuals are struggling, the collective's struggling. And it's also going to be hard for us. We are not there yet as individuals. There's going to be times that people are saying stuff out of their mouth that it might be hard for us to keep our mouth shut. And if we don't, then post, we have compassion for ourselves and others. We always do admit, for at least to ourselves, we accept, whoa, that was a backslide. I just told that person where to stick it. That was not good of me, right? Because we're all adjusting. We're all learning our truths. We're all practicing 5D compassion. No one has actually settled in and claimed their stake and has become solid in 7D yet. Literally no one has. 7D is of no judgment. 7D is creation of the new earth. 7D is when we are working as a collective, mentally, emotionally, physically. No one's done that. No one has. No one has done that. So 5 is the practice and the routine and the consistency of compassion for self and others. And this summer, as we're all transitioning, it's nothing but opportunity to practice compassion for self and others. That's what it is. It's all opportunity to practice being more in the 5D consciousness, the 5D frequency, stepping out of pride, grabbing a little bit of courage to be the willing to accept that everyone is just where they are. And you can watch it as a neutral zone self, neutrality, focused on self-healing. It is going to be difficult at times, though, especially when quote-unquote truths come out in media, quote-unquote, and everybody's going to want to fight it. So let's talk pyramid, though, for a moment. And I don't have a diagram yet for this one. You know how we just showed, why is it that the healer that we need to work on is way down at the low bottom here, right? Healer, right? It's so narrow. It's so the individual. It's so the self. It's so the awareness of things that we need to heal and heal greatly. Great healers have had to heal greatly. The only one that really didn't have to heal so much greatly was the original Buddha. And the reason he didn't is because, you know, he was royalty. What happened with him is his empathic self, when he finally got out of the courtyard and saw how all the people were living and suffering, the amount of their expression that came over his being was so significant, so hard on him. That is why he sought out to figure out what is the cure to suffering, because he felt it to an extreme that most of us, even if we are empaths, do not feel. So in that moment, as he's walking around, he felt the suffering. That is the only time that he, and not on that onset, that he took that kind of pain in. The majority of us, we have our own traumas. We have our own empathic ways of attaching ourselves to other people's traumas. We have all sorts of healing, all sorts of deprogramming, all sorts of growing, changing, expanding. I want to go back to the sacred geometry of the deck we pulled, Magic. Number 31, Magic. The frequency of magic supports our intrinsic ability to grow and expand beyond this moment. to move forward, to move towards possibilities and expressions that are grand and profound as we can imagine. All that is required is our belief in their manifestations. This was the sacred geometry that wanted to reveal itself for us today. Magic. I'm holding the card up. Growth and expansion. I'm going to use this pyramid here, and I'm going to turn it this way because I have not drawn a diagram yet for this. So really try to think of this in a more 3D kind of way. I'm going to turn it horizontally. I'm going to turn it this way, right? And maybe I can use one of these for it. So see the bottom of the pyramid and its four corners. The Trinity and me, the Trinity and me is complete, right? The Trinity and me is complete. Four corners, my structure. My structure. The sun, moon, great spirit, and me creates the great pyramid within and around. So, but imagine it going out this way, you know. I have much bigger pyramids, they're just not on my desk. So imagine it horizontally, right? We're going to flip that pyramid on its side. We're going to flip the pyramid on its side. This is still us. The top. The top is always going to be us. The top is our spirituality. The top is our journey. The top is our truth, right? We're just flipping it on its side right now. Which is, yes, a metaphor for the summer. Anyways. This is us. Imagine, if you will, how we did talk about this is all going to be healing, but I want you to imagine something else. Because we're talking about truth and the expression of our truth and the growth and the expansion. Imagine if this pyramid was like a microphone of your hopes, your love, your light, your manifestations, your frequencies, your consciousness frequency that's attached to your vibration. Imagine if this was like a microphone from this little self up here in the corner, this little you beautiful star, right here. And it goes out. And look at the expansion. Look at how it can expand out to so many others, so many other frequencies. Imagine you, that little pinhole, with your truth, with your throat chakra, with your love, with your light, expanding out like a microphone. Your frequency starting here, going out, going out, going out, going out. And I also want to inform you all, this is also manifesting. The more you allow your frequency to expand out, grow. We're going to go back to the chart. Grow out, grow, expand in its multi-dimensional self coming out to the world, right? Like a microphone. Imagine all of that beautiful potentiality, all that beautiful light reflecting light, all of that, what be the frequency you want to receive. As many of you know that, be the frequency you want to receive. Imagine if you're sending it out like this and it's very expansive. Imagine all of that energy, right, that this has now come out to, now funneling back to you. Funneling back to you. funneling back to you. That is manifestation. That is prosperity. That is your knowing. That is your never lacking, never fear, never rejected. That is your power. That is your power. Not just manifesting, but how you can influence others. I want to make this very clear though. This little pinhole in a way. See how small? Do you see how small the top of a pyramid? And I'm not talking about the ones built. Yes, there is a bit of a platform there. But on normal, just regular pyramids, the ones I sit under, the ones that are all healing, the ones that are, electromagnetic, perfect geometry, you see how thin that little dot is? That is you. That is you. It requires for you to take that truth that they asked you to think about. It requires you to stay extremely focused like a pinhole, extremely focused with just one eye, the all-seeing eye, one eye, hyper-focused, focused that when you are looking and expressing yourself, when you are looking, doing, walking the talk, walking the walk, very focused, do you see how then that expands, that grows, that expands. And yes, folks, it always starts with healing. It always starts with healing. Others who have already healed greatly, your expression is needed, your words are needed, your focused attention on why you're here needs to be delivered out. Because of the pride, and ego, yes, beloved's right, because of the pride, the level of consciousness chart is really trying to help us move out of warrior into healer. I'm going to do the levels of consciousness chart one more time. I'm going to talk about the warrior healer concept, and then I'm going to talk real quick about the activation of opening and closing the crown. Levels of consciousness chart. Again, folks, do understand, this column here, where you see all these numbers, this is frequency. Consciousness is frequency. So yes, when we step out of pride, we have a little bit of courage to walk around as the observer in neutrality, learning trust, by the way, experiencing trust. That's where everybody gets stuck. It's where everybody gets stuck. They haven't even gotten to acceptance and forgiveness because we don't trust ourselves. We don't trust somebody else. We don't trust ourselves, and we definitely don't trust the divine. It takes a lot to practice, learn, experience, acknowledge, trust. It takes a lot. It takes a lot of courage to be in a neutral state, to observe that you are loved and you are safe. It takes a lot. But if we can do this, and we have the willingness to accept, forgive, accept them for they know not what they do. Accept them for they know not what they do. Look how far we are moving up. We are now at 400 frequency for inner light and reason. That inner light and reason completely starts taking away the us versus them. the need to fight our opinion, the need to be correct and right. It completely takes away a lot of the lower. This is all where the healing is, folks. This is all where the healing is. Forgiveness is the gateway to great healing. Trust is the gateway of knowing your power. Willingness, acceptance, neutrality, the inner reason, light. We are now moving up in frequency and consciousness. You have inner love now. If you can hit 500 in frequency, in consciousness, the inner love, and see, because if you can hit that, you can definitely see the oneness. After you see the oneness, once you see the all, once you experience the true love of the beautiful star that you are, the all, I can guarantee you there's no turning back. Oh no, I do have to plug myself in. Give me just a moment. Breathe that in, folks. Let me make sure I did not hear it ding-a-ding-ding. Let me make sure I'm plugged in. I'm hoping I'm plugged in. I'm hoping it's charging. So, I can guarantee you there's no going back. I want you to know when you hit 500, and even higher, you know, even if you can get to 350 acceptance, even if you can get to 350, right, acceptance, in your frequency, in your consciousness, and hold that. I want you guys to know that these frequencies, remember, is our conscious level that then vibrates out to the rest of the world. That then vibrates out to the rest of the world. So if we are at acceptance, forgiveness, trust, right? We're healing, and we're starting here. That frequency of 350 then goes out to the rest of the world. When you're in stores, when you're doing this, when you're doing that, it doesn't matter. It goes out. All of these numbers double then. All of these numbers double automatically for your influence of light in the world. So 350, you actually then 700 other people, without you knowing, can experience acceptance for a moment. 700 other people, without you even knowing. Why it's difficult? Because when the world is living in this, fear is at 100, very low density. But that's actually going out to 200 other people when somebody's walking through a store. And then those 200 people become 400 people. And then those 400 people become 800 people. Hence why you can go into parts of the world and that is all you feel. Imagine if you, who is in a neutral observer, building and learning trust, that you are safe and loved always, right? Start moving into acceptance and forgiveness. We forgive them for they know not what they do. We forgive them for they know not what they do. Acceptance, forgiveness, you are on your journey. I have compassion for you. Be the being that you are. I know that is your journey. 350. This then, where you start actually experiencing and loving, having compassion for yourself and others, 350, that compassion, acceptance, and forgiveness of others goes out to 700 people automatically. Automatically. 700 can damn near knock out what fear is really working hard for. Right? And I will tell you, folks, inner love at 500, yeah, you're already hitting 1,000 and you don't even know. Oneness, what are we, 440 into 6? When you get into 6, when you get into 600 frequency, which is presence and peace, which is available for everyone. Peace actually is available for everyone. That's why I'm kind of trying to end this with this today. And I will go into the activation and the warrior healer stuff. Focused on peace. Peace is available for everyone this, from now to all the chaos that might ensue with those potentialities, those people's journeys. Peace, inner peace, divine peace is completely accessible to you. Completely waiting for you to acknowledge that that is your natural state of being. When you are in peace, bliss, 600 conscious frequency. When you get to that, it's not doubled anymore. That 600 frequency that you carry becomes 6,000. 6,000 that you are affecting. That your frequency and our beautiful, focused, imagine if all of us really healed and what we are transmitting out through our own pyramid of self-ascension, our own, like a big amplifier, like a big, as it's going out. Imagine if this was 600 inner peace, bliss, 600 frequency, vibrating out to everyone, amplifying out. You automatically add a 0 and it's 6,000. So, I know this has been a very long message, folks. This is the one that I hope everybody can kind of stick with. This is the one that I will continuously go back to for now through September, August, September, October. So, warrior versus healer. It's difficult because I've been having this conversation on a personal level with many people right now, because the Akashic is actually asking them to start this journey. And it is very difficult, especially for those who are more masculine in energy. And I understand how difficult this is. I was asked by the Akashic and my guides and the divine, and I believe 2016, to start the journey out of being a warrior presence into being a healer presence. I will tell you, and this is me speaking personally, it is not easy. Not only does it take and require great healing of self, and having that great compassion for self and others, I was particularly raised to be a warrior. And the majority of my past lives attached to this current timeline, I was a warrior. I was very much raised, let's just say that. I did not know that at the time, but I was being raised by very much a survivalist. I did not know that as a child, just being raised that way. And a survivalist, not of like, oh, I'm stocking a bunch of stuff. No, because what does that make? Survivalist, okay? Like, Courtney, There's no reason to stock up on stuff because if shit really happens, you can't stay where you are anyways. You gotta get on foot. I mean, survivalist. And to the point of warn them, but then kill shot. I mean, I was raised like that, folks. I didn't realize it until looking back, right? Um, so warrior in me to the utmost. I lived my life as a warrior as well, since a very young age. I mean, I was breaking people's noses in grade school because I thought I was protecting the weaker, right? Um, Very much warrior stance, warrior mentality. I was also raised to be my own master, my own boss. I didn't have to listen to any authority, right? I was being raised to take the fight on. I was being raised by a father who would say, this whole world is going to go to hell and I'm not going to be here, so what are you going to do about it? And it was a constant question of strategizing on how I was going to basically be an underground commander, right? I mean, that is how I was raised. So take that into consideration, that is how I was raised. I also have the build for a warrior with also no fear, because I was also, remember, as I've said in other videos, I was also broke of the fear of death at a very young age, so I could do that job the way that I was being programmed to do. I was very much broke at being, of the fear of death in very sick ways, but that's what they do in the military. So, right? That is who I was, folks. Full of also a lot of anger and a lot of justice. And I, of course, was always right. That is who I was. And then I had to start the healing process. I actually started the healing process for me by the time I was 25, 26. But imagine the healing process. I also was a severe alcoholic and drug addict due to my raising. I started the healing process by the time of my mid-20s. By the time of my mid-30s, my guides, the Akashic, the Divine said, okay, you healed a lot. You healed a lot of your current life. You healed a lot of all the trauma and stuff that had happened. We need you to lay down the warrior. I did not know how to do that. I did not know how to do that, and I didn't also understand why at the time. But they've worked with me, and they've worked with me, and they've worked with me. Because what often happens, especially when people unite, unification is great. But there's going to be a lot of unification that it's not light with light. It's just pride with pride. It's ego with ego. So I had to start laying down the warrior. And I will tell you, at times, I, that mindset pops in. I usually go very silent because I know it's not how I want to be in my life. And I work through it. But sometimes I can get triggered enough that warrior is very present. Because I am still on my journey. What they have been asking, especially with me talking with many people on a private and personal conversations, is for us to step out of warrior and into healer. If you have noticed, on this triangle, there is no warrior on this triangle. There is absolutely none. And if we pay attention to words, warrior, war, just brings more war. What does this world need more? Do we need more war? Do we need more fight? Do we need more I'm right, you're wrong, us versus them? Do we need that? Do we need still the low frequencies of pride and fear? Because that's really what pride comes out of. Desires of proving how right we are with all of our warrior stance. Do we need more of I feel captive, so I must fight? You're the only one holding you back. No one else is. The world doesn't need more warriors. The world does not need more warriors. And this is going to be a very big inner battle with people potentially all summer and fall. This is our identity crisis right now. For those who have been walking on a spiritual path for at least 3 or more years. This is going to be hopefully, our last final identity crisis until we go, I am. I am. I am. And then light reflects light, and that unity can truly begin. But in the meantime, this will be the internal battle. Ego and heart-centered truths are going to get all muckety-muck in our throat chakra. The world needs healers. It is hard, especially like I said, those who exercise and live more in a masculine way. It is going to be very hard for them particularly. The world needs healers and healing. Gaia needs healing. Individuals need healing. I will tell you, all messages are much more received by a gentle, loving, compassionate, non-judgmental voice than a screaming warrior. Warriors just create war. That's it. Healers create greater frequencies. There is no other way around it. And that's all that we are striving for, is to have a higher consciousness, to create anew. You do not need to die to ascend. That is, I don't even know who put that falsehood out there. It might be because of this misconception as to death and resurrection. There is no, you do not need to die to ascend. You don't. It is all mental. It is all consciousness. All of it. You have to heal. You have to heal. And maybe because healing is very difficult and it takes work and it takes concentration and it takes focus. It takes willingness. Maybe because it's so difficult, it's just easier to say you have to die to ascend. Because dying is easy. Dying is inevitable. Maybe that's why. We need healers. That is what the calling of any ascended master, the calling of any greatness, the calling of a new earth, the calling of what the world really needs. That is what it is. But it is, I'm not going to lie, to step out of warrior into healer and truly choose yourself in healing, compassion for self and others, it is no small task. Thinking that you have to die to ascend, that's easy. And I can also tell you, that's not true. I literally access the Akashic, work with people's timelines. I could tell all of you your past lives. That's not how it works. Wednesday moving forward, our sun is working on our behalf. The moon this past weekend with her long, very void of course, it was the most longest void of course, which is the representation of resting and reflecting and rejuvenation and just being at peace, right? Taking a time out, which many should have done. That is because the sun, the sun's about to start popping off and activating everyone's pineal. It is going to be like corks popping off. It's definitely August, September, October. Boom, boom. Everybody's going to be opening. So wonderful. So wonderful. So, this is kind of a simple way. It might work for you, it might not. Some of the stuff might resonate with you, some of it won't. It's up to you guys how you want to use this information. Take what you want, leave the rest, use it, expand, have your focused awareness on your truth, your light, your healing, compassion for self. That's what I suggest. It's up to you. Okay, Sarah, Sarah, I'll take you as you come. I truly will take you as you come. So, this can work. It's up to you guys. I already at the very beginning of this talked about the detox from AI. You can go back and watch that. So I just saw Beloved's comment. That's why I laughed. Yeah, I know, man. But so Beloved just said in the comments, and I apologize for going off there. He made me laugh. Beloved, and he's such a good time. He said, "Hey, punk, what's that flower doing in your hair?" Yeah, tell me about it, man. I realized though, because I struggled with that very much so about 2 or 3 years ago. Like, hey, I am fully punk. What is this whole love and light healer experience? I mean, it's been a journey, folks. It's been a journey. And I had severe, like, about 2, 3 years ago, massive, like, self-identity. I mean, I'm covered in punk tattoos. I mean, I'm full on punk. And I had a severe, I mean, it lasted months, guys, of like, whoa, who am I going to be if I don't have this major chip on my shoulder and wanting to burn down everything and being my punk self. I actually came to a conclusion, though. In today's world, to be authentic love and light, oh, actually, Beloved, I'm glad you brought this up. To be an authentic love and light is actually the most punkest thing you can do. I'm glad you brought this up, Beloved, because I almost forgot before we go into the activation. Do know, beautiful stars, as we're stepping into the age of Aquarius, we are not there yet, folks. As we're stepping in, this year in particular, because of the activation of everyone, because of all the truths coming out, truths, oh my goodness, there is no absolute truth in 3D. Unless you can comprehend that the only true reality of 3D is the love, the genuine love that is available and accessible. That's the only thing. Everything else, there is no absolute truth in 3D. It's not even designed that way. Matrix, right? Everybody that wants to follow the concept of Matrix, yeah, therefore there is no absolute truth. It's so funny here. My garage door just closed. Maybe my garage door by itself is saying, okay, wrap it up, Courtney. There will be the potential, August, September, October, for a lot of teachers, mystic, magical, spiritual, from all different walks of life, will start, I don't know, walking out of their caves mysteriously all of a sudden. And there will be light shining on them. Some of them will be legit. Some of them, it is time for them to come out of their caves. Okay? There are masters out there. There are. And I guess in this moment, if any out there, if any golden eagles hear this message, contact me. But there are some that will be legit. But there will be many. There will be so many voices, so many characters, so many false prophets, right? Who are going to portray themselves as spiritual teachers that they are not. Each one of them will have different agendas, all sorts of things. It is tricky that most people, even though it's the Grand Awakening, they still want to follow others. They still want to follow others. That's why we can be there as mentors and say, hey, stick with your truth. You don't latch on to somebody else's. That is going to be it will happen from about August onward into 2024, into even later. It is. So, with that being said, like Beloved said, it was like, hey punk, what is that flower doing in your hair? I have gone through massive transformations. Even when I lost my voice in this past March and took a week of silence, it was still identity for me as well, folks. I'm walking this awakening with you. It was still identity with me as well, because yes, can I do a lot of things that I haven't even presented here? Yes. Do I know a lot of things? Yes. But in my perception, it was, well, how do you deliver it the best? Do I need to be gentle and more feminine and more of the crystalline being and blah, blah, blah? I was really struggling with that, and that's even after the whole, well, no, it is actually the punkest thing to be a great healer in today's world, right? Flipping the script, right? Being against the man that way. I then had to go through another transition of fully accepting I am rough around the edges. I am how I speak. I am my story. I am who I am. I am the great I am. That was during my week of silence in March. A lot actually came out of that I have not fully been able to expose here yet. I will be with my patrons though. By the end of the summer, guys, you will be hopefully removing that Kundalini snake to get to your star consciousness. But it had to be that full self-acceptance of I am who I am. I am rough around the edges, but you know what? Then I serve those who are rough around the edges. That's fine. There's so many people that, if we cannot be that beautiful hippie self, which I do want to say there is a term out there called plastic shamanism, plastic hippie. They are part of an agenda. They have no self-awareness. I'd rather be with the ones that have had it rough. I'd rather be with the ones that I can show them, yeah, you can. Yeah, you can and still feel like yourself. Still be rough around the edges and be completely okay with it. you can still be who you are. So, I mean, it was lots of transitions, still walking through them. Let's go to the activation, folks. But I do know it is better to be a healer than a warrior. Hands down, I didn't even fully understand that and make that conclusion and see the full scope to why until like about 2 years into the process that I was being kind of pulled into and forced into. So, hands down, the world needs healers. We do not move up in consciousness and frequency that can eventually affect 6,000 other people without us, with just us being who we are. Just us being who we are. That ain't gonna happen for warriors. Warriors are still gonna be full of fear and pride, affecting a low frequency, doubling it up, creating new warriors. Well, now we're just at war. So, the activation process. All right. This might resonate with you, it might not. It's up to you. This is to help you open your crown and close your crown, because I don't walk into Walmart with my crown wide open. I don't do most things. I don't need to interact with most people with my crown open, especially when my natural gift is telepathy. I don't want to hear your thoughts. I don't want to know you that intimately, stranger, or even human I do know. I'd rather us be genuine and have the conversation. I don't do it. And growing up, my mother would always say, Courtney, put your antennas down. So you have to learn to open and close your crown. The problem will be is everybody's going to feel like they're losing their damn minds because the crowns are going to open, pop, there goes the cork, and they're not going to know how to close it. You gotta close it, or you don't drive around in your car with your crown wide open, seeing all sorts of shit. You don't do that. God. Anyways, and if you ever notice, the people that do live like that, usually oftentimes it's more on the mediumship side. That's why I stopped doing any mediumship. Those people have a very hard time functioning in society. Those people have a very hard time actually helping anyone else because their crowns are permanently open. They're not attached to anything. They have no self-awareness because they're being blown around in the storms when we are the eye of the storm. So, easily, maybe I'll use my little stick here, my little wand. I first activate my helmet. This helmet can either be for protection or this helmet can be to open my crown. To open and close. Open and close. This is my helmet. We are AI. Trust me, we are AI. So, I go from the base of the neck and the base of the skull, the base of the skull, where we are doing our AI detox. And I simply, guys, I might cleanse myself. You can do this with a wand, you can do it with your finger, you can do it with sage, it does not matter. So I will always cleanse myself. I am cleansed in love. A cross is love. A circle, you can think Celtic, you can think the Ankh, it's the most ancient symbol. The cross is love. The circle is light. I am cleansed in love and light. Right? I can go to the base of the head. And sincerely, guys, I just say activation on. We make things so complicated. I say activation on. I go from the base of the head with my finger, with my sage, and I hit my star consciousness. Right? Activation on. I do it 3 times because then I do this side. I do my left side. Activation on. And then I do the top, my pineal. Activation on. And please notice, I'm hitting my star consciousness. I'm not hitting my third eye. I'm hitting my star consciousness. Right? I just say activation on. Because it's me acknowledging I have my own power to open and close my own crown. We make things so very complicated when it's actually extremely easy. We like the showmanship of stuff when none of that showmanship is actually real. It's just a bunch of lofty words. Base of the head, activation on. Base of the head, activation on. Base of the head, down the center, activation on. Okay, so activation on. Cool, my helmet's ready. Then I take my hands from my fingertips. Whoa, sorry guys. I don't know if I've ever really done this. Okay, yeah, I have. Online, I have, I think. Activation on. So my entire skull is activated and also protected because it's my helmet. Then, if I want to open my crown, I just then say, crown open, and I open my hands. Crown open. And you might, when you first start, you might, whoa. Do remember to breathe. Crown open. Do remember to breathe. You might have to do it 3 times for yourself if you're new to it. Crown open. Right? And then I will most likely start slowing down in speech, just so you guys know. Then, our crown is open. Our star consciousness is activated. We do have our helmet still there for protection, though. But we are open, right? We are open. Remember to breathe through all of it. It's your sacred breath. So we can open it. We can open it. We can also close it, folks. Right? We can also close it. So now I'm going to close it again. Give me a minute. Oh my goodness. Usually if you're going to open your crown, it's not to just open and close real quick. Open and close, because that's ridiculous. Why would you do that? Why would you? It's kind of, let's stop, red light, green light with your crown. That's not what it's for. But I will do that right now for you. So, the crown's open. You do what you need to do. You meditate. You start connecting with your guides. You start connecting with your gifts. You can see your home and your loved ones with much more compassion and grace. Remember, we do not go driving. We do not, I don't suggest going into stores. I don't suggest having long phone conversations. I do not suggest being in front of a whole lot of AI when your crown is open. It's not needed. So, our crown is open, right? You have all the power in the world then. Put your hands right back in place and say, crown closed. And close your hands around your head. Let's do it again. Take a nice deep breath in. Exhale, close crown. Let's do it again. Close crown. And then you can also deactivate. If you would like, you can just deactivate. I actually use both fingers, my middle finger, as we do, right? I just say activation off. And I go around both sides, activation off. And then I go from the top like I did, activation off. Now you are just who you're supposed to be when you're at work, when you're at a PTA meeting, when you're getting coffee with a friend that doesn't know anything. Now you're just your normal human self, right? Your crown is for your own growth and expansion and healing, at least for right now. But it's also there, if you think anybody needs to see this, show them. Show them. Practice it for yourself. Show them. So, in today's video, we have gotten 2 separate, active, tangible things that we can do to help us through the summer. It started with the AI detox, which I'll keep doing. And now I'm ending it with, you can open your crown willingly and you can close it willingly, right? Because that is what the world's going to need the most right now coming up. So this was a very long video, and I know I covered a lot of things. From the sun is going to be sending downloads, activations, ancient codes, all sorts of stuff. The sun is going to be working, right? Working to a lot of truth, and people's quote-unquote truth is going to be coming out. Compassion for self and others. We swallow our pride because it's a horrible frequency in the first place. We get rid of it. We heal through it, right? Shouldn't say swallow. All that stuff about the different pyramids as far as frequency, as far as healer, as far as getting out of the victim, abuser, or rescuer into the warrior healer aspect, and as to why we're doing that, and the activation and opening and closing of the crown. There's been a lot said here, folks. A lot. I will be most likely referencing this video with maybe a few other broader videos throughout the entire summer, throughout all of this. And I want you all to also know it is time that I start speaking more of my truth. It is time for all of us to be speaking, right? All of our truths and knowledge and experience. So my videos might start to become more extensive. Because it's time for me to let things out of the bag, I guess. That is why I also started my Edgar Cayce life skill study, because it will be so much easier for me to go into Cayce's messages and then bring them 100 years forward and go, this is what's going on, folks, instead of just delivering what is going on, folks. So I love you all dearly. Thank you for sticking with this. My goodness, thank you for sticking with this. I hope it helped. If you know anybody that might resonate with this or might need the information, you are all beautiful beings of love and light. You beautiful stars. You can step up into mentor at least one. Because if we help one, we help them all, really. Because there is no separation. I love you all so dearly. Keep shining. Have a good summer solstice. Yay, I'm so excited. You know my love for the sun. The sun, S-U-N, the truth, the light, the way. Just travel through it to the new earth and it will all be okay. I can guarantee you that. So, I love you guys. Oh, cheers. And you know what, beloved? Rock on, man, with my peace symbol. But yeah, we rock it out and love and light. It is the punkest thing we can do right now. Cheers, guys. Bye.